Give me one sec. I'm gonna try and get through things today. They're doing construction once again in my apartment building, which means there's drilling and there's machinery going, and it sounds like trying to like break through concrete walls or some shit with a sledgehammer. It's reverberating all up and down the building. It's been doing this for 2.5 years now. So if there's any background noise, I do apologize. I'm also going to give a bit of a spiel once we get into the episode here, but oh yeah, my mic's picking it up now.
Oof.
Oh yeah, I just heard that. Damn.
Dang.
Yeah. And there's nothing I can do. Because the building won't ask them to keep it down. Like, it's during daylight hours, so as far as the building's concerned, it's all good. They don't give a shit. Yeah, we've still got construction going. It's gross. I actually put up a video this morning, friends only, on TikTok, if you want to go take a look at that. Alright. Hello and welcome to the Idiot Book Nook podcast. My name is Blazewing and my pronouns are she, her, and they, them.
I am the Reading Dragon, and my pronouns are she, her.
I'm Lady Punnet. My pronouns are primarily she, her, sometimes they, them. Today is a they, them kind of day. Stop clawing the friggin' oven! Cat.
And one moment, we broke Critter. So,
And I'm Critter Shy, and my pronouns today are sweater.
we are going through Prospero School of Magic, The Return of Merlin. But first, our housekeeping. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can do so at linktr.ee/idiotbooknook. You'll be able to find links to our podcast, to the YouTube. You'll be able to find links to all of our socials and all of that jazz. Go check us out. Go give us, a bit of a looky-loo, or whatever it is. And for today, I do apologize, but once again, they are doing construction in my building, so if there's background noise, I do apologize. It's not something I can control. I will try and keep it to a minimum, however. So just be aware of that. That being said, I think we're on chapter 5, are we not?
Yes, we are starting chapter 5 today.
Does anybody want to give a bit of a recap as to what's happened up to this point?
You want me to do my super speedy recaps of things?
That would be great. Let's start doing that, because I don't know whether this chapter is going to be long or not, or whether our discussion is going to have to be next episode. We're going to find that out as we go, pretty much, so stay tuned. It's all sorts of exciting stuff here that we don't know what's happening.
The excitement.
So in the super speedy retelling of things, Prospero School of Magic, The Return of Merlin follows young Clara as she is at a school similar to Hogwarts, but not really, because they actually have technology. She does a very anime moment where she runs into her crush since childhood, Daniel, who turns out also has a crush on her and asks to formally request to court her. Very noble. Run into another guy named Romeo, who also has a crush on her, but didn't do anything. That's on him. Clara has 2 siblings, one who is older and one who is younger. Older brother is top tier, younger sister is adorable. School gets under attack. By the way, Daniel is not in school because his shitty father sent him to do dragon training. Kind of cool, sucks that he's not there. School gets a massive earthquake because 2 of the bad guys, one named Argon, the other named Citrine, pop out of the ground from where they once were because they were imprisoned by some guy named Donatello, who we meet later chapters. A few people get hurt. Sebastian, Clara's older brother, gets stabbed by Citrine. He's okay because he got saved by the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson doctor, whose name is Dr. Mahoy. Find out later from the parents of Clara, who we thought were great parents. Turns out Clara is engaged to the Prince, Wesley, because he's sick with leukemia, but they don't want that getting out. But Clara's like, no, I'm dating somebody. And the dad's like, too bad, you gotta marry this guy. Dump your boyfriend. Boyfriend's not happy about this information. Turns out also Clara is actually the reincarnation of Morgana, and Daniel is actually Merlin. And that Clara remembers all of her stuff after remembering a very spicy dream between the two of them. And yeah, now a few people know he's Merlin. Merlin turns out was Daniel. Used too much magic one time, reverted to an 8-year-old body, and convinced the two people who are not actually his parents that he is their kid, so he could save the mom because she was going through domestic abuse from the father.
Jesus.
Well, that was a
Please.
thing. So all in favor of
and there's
Lady,
a lot of sexy scenes between Citrine and Argon,
which we don't do here on live.
We don't do here on live.
Nope.
So all in favor of Lady Punnet taking over recaps from now on.
I
It's unanimous. Keep
You've
up
been
that
going
energy.
cold.
I love it.
That's my speedy recap of things.
Yes, keep up that shit. I love that energy. Holy crap.
I just see like this whole animatic in my head of everything that's just happened with Lady Punnet narrating.
I need an anime of this now.
Yep.
We just need someone to clip that, and maybe if I have the time and energy, I can try doing like a very fast animatic of that.
I may not be able to catch that, unfortunately. So I can catch it within like a few seconds, and Twitch will let me clip it. But if I go back and try and clip it afterwards, Twitch is like, "Yeah, sorry, something went wrong, and you're not allowed to do this anymore."
Really?
I cannot clip things afterwards.
Really, I'm able to clip things afterwards.
Me too.
Yeah, if I'm watching a replay of a Twitch live, I can get clips.
I can't.
Is it because you don't publish?
I know. I tried publishing the videos as well. It still won't let me.
That's shitty. Yeah, because I've noticed that like a lot of the videos that we do here on Twitch don't really stay on the Twitch channel. Or they don't get published.
I don't publish the videos automatically, so I can take the videos and put them over onto other platforms, right? So for those of you that are listening to the podcast, if you hear some weird dinging sounds come up, I do have TikTok going as well as Twitch. So I have 2 streaming platforms going this morning. That dinging sound is actually apparently gifts coming in from TikTok. So just be aware of that. That being said, narrator, are you ready?
Oh, that's me.
That is you.
That's me. I forgot to check if there was sexy scenes.
Have you had your meds this morning?
Yes.
ADHD problem number 4,829, folks.
Yes, because I had to take my birth control.
Okay.
And I remember the process because Nacho always jumps up on the counter when he hears the sink.
Gotcha. All right, well, narrator, take it away.
Okay. Trigger warning! This book contains situations and scenes that may cause people to become triggered. These include, but are not limited to, sexual assault, rape, drugs, drinking, blood, gore, murder, and abuse. Your listener's discretion is advised. Chapter 5. Daniel pinched the bridge of his nose as he gave the question some thought. He had not... for reference, this is a question of the immortals are a threat of the school, and what do you know about them, and how can we stop them for people who haven't been here a while? Ahem. Daniel pinched the bridge of his nose as he gave the question some thought. He had not ever had to explain this to anyone before, because back then the immortals were well known up until they were turned into fairy tales, much like his own story that was rewritten in so many ways, and he found it amusing. This was the realm of magic, yet it was still ignorant to what it all had hidden in it that was yet to be discovered. He took a deep breath and looked back at them all.
Let me get my glasses off real quick so that way it's not pinching my nose. Where is his script?
I just noticed we all wear glasses.
You just noticed that?
Yes.
Wait, I lost my place.
Dragon doesn't wear glasses.
Yeah, I do.
Since when?
since
She
forever.
just put them on. She had to take them off.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So remember those tangents I was telling you about?
I think it's because my glasses are only like a top
They're-
frame. They
yeah.
don't have a bottom frame.
Like, they sometimes hide in your eyebrows.
I'm not even mad.
I mean, my glasses hide my eyebrows.
Mine too.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, would you please take over?
Daniel, your first line is, "The world you all think you know." Remember to do your Italian accent.
There it is. Maybe hold on. There's like not a break in the paragraph here for me to like really find it.
Okay, so start at the top of the paragraph. And
Okay, so this is how this whole page looks to me.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
won't have to go that far down. I would say probably like
Oh, dang.
a third of the way.
Also, the T in the, because I just found it,
It's
is
not capitalized.
capitalized.
It's all right.
There's no breaks in any of these paragraphs.
It's okay. It's okay. You know what? I'm going through the book at some point, and I'm basically going to be copy editing and like proofreading and
I think we can just
reformatting it. So
we can just take like breathable pauses whenever it feels natural.
yes.
I think
Yeah.
we're all read well. Let's start that again. We are all well read enough that we can manage that.
Yep.
Even
Yeah.
though none of us are wearing red.
Nope. Well, actually, technically, Blaze is with her headphones.
Daniel, would you please take over?
I'm not wrong.
Technically correct. The best kind of correct.
The world.
The world you all think you know. The world of magic is not just the small box that you know. Yes, it has forever been kept hidden and a secret from those with non-gifted powers. But it is not just that. It is so much more. The royal families throughout the ages lost record or sight of what all consisted of this world of ours. It is not just witches, wizards, alchemists, and sorcerers. There is so much more out there. Fairies, elves, mermaids, night walkers. Well, demons and even shapeshifters. All these things that have been changed and put into storybooks that many do not realize are real. Not just what someone made up. All these things that seem so far-fetched that it seems impossible for them to be remotely real. In my case, me and my story. It was turned into so many different stories that has been romanticized and fantasized because to many, it is not possible for one wizard to be that powerful, to be able to do all the things he can do, that he could be the one to have created every spell and potion, everything. It is not possible, yet here I stand before you. Everything you know and have learned, it is my work. And yes, of course, I will give credit where credit is due to those that learned to take my work and create new things from it. For it is very impressive to me. Take Julian, for instance. I have been watching him. He is brilliant, a potion master, if you will. He has created so many things just off my work alone. It's brilliant. Yet no one here in the history of magic realizes that I was the start of it all, and that it is my journals of work that everything was taken from. Other than the books, I did not want anyone to get their hands on. I do not like to share too much. One big thing is the spell to seal and unseal the immortals that have been sealed away. The only other person that knew the spell to seal them away was Donatello Cameron. The first time he did it was Argon's royal advisor, Agate. He was the element of air, and the other was sealed away as Carnelian, the element of fire. I am not sure why he had put them away. He did not say, and I did not ask, but I gave him the spell to use from the same one I used to seal away the deadliest of them all. Arisus. He was the first of the immortals to be sealed away, and it was his kingdom and son that came from me in the end, and was my undoing and murdered my reason for living. The war over land and power was part of it, yes, but it was so much more for his son that came to throne, Mortem. He was just as sick and sadistic as his father. Same for the other two siblings, Delamere and his younger brother, and their little sister, Caris. Revenge was their motive, and they got it. They took everything from me.
He said through gritted teeth.
Anyways, the Nightwalkers, or demons, if you will, was getting out of hand, so Donatello made it to his mission to make sure they would be sealed away since they could not be killed. And I would help, of course. My powers were far superior to his, and it took little effort for me to seal them away, in crystals and amulets. At some point, he had to seal away Argon, his king, and his queen to be Citrine. I had gotten word that they had lost their way and became monsters. Argon is the element of earth. He was here far before any other man walked the earth aside from Arisus, who, the element of everything, is combined. Argon left behind a hidden village that no one could get into unless invited. It is invisible to the human eye, and nothing evil can break its wards. It is the Elven Village. Now, how his elves came to be was from him using his blood that has the power to heal, and used various flowers and combined them together to create his children, because he was so lonely and wanted more in his life. Citrine, being the element of water, however, is or was a mermaid. She is their queen and their creator. Her and the others like her could go from having what they call land legs to fins at will. I never got to ask or find out what caused such a change in two mortals. That were peaceful and kind. Now, I fear on who or what has been set free, and what caused them to be set free.
Next we have Chester, where you get to practice your Australian accent.
Wait,
No, not Australian. No, it's Scottish. Right, you don't do Australian. Scottish.
It's Scottish.
Scots-Australian?
No.
Not Australian, it's Scottish.
He's Scottish. So you mean to tell me we have bloodthirsty demons or some type of deadly immortals coming around and causing all these problems?
Chester looked at the old wizard with wide, scared eyes.
Basically.
Daniel replied with a shrug.
It is just figuring out which one. I know it is not the elves or the mermaids. They keep to themselves, just like the fairies. So, that narrows down any of them. But, if my hunch is right, and it is... So that narrows down and...
So that narrows down any of them. But if my hunch is right...
So that narrows down any of them. But if my hunch is right, and it is, it's Argon and Citrine.
Hang on a sec. That sentence is actually grammatically incorrect. So, from what I'm gathering, how it should read is: so that narrows down any of them. But if my hunch is right, it is Argon and Citrine.
Okay.
The word "and" should not be there.
Yeah. So that narrows down any of them. But if my hunch is right, it is Argon and Citrine.
up, we have Citrine. Does anyone remember who Citrine
I
was?
believe that was me.
Yeah.
Yay!
No, Citrine was Lady Punnett.
No, I don't
think.
do any of the female lines.
No, Citrine
was-
was me.
Really? I thought it was Blaze.
Cause sultry voice. I think
Because you said you wanted to do the male voices, yes?
maybe.
I'm
Or
gonna.
was
Does
Citrine...
anyone in chat? Okay, chat. Quick question for you guys. Do you remember who was Citrine?
Because I believe
I
you
know
were.
I did Argon.
You did Argon? Okay.
Yeah. I cannot remember who was doing Citrine.
Then you know what?
How
Just-
about
Scissors.
huh?
What?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Too much of a delay with the cameras.
Darn.
We could either
I
roll
mean,
a
if you
dice
wanna
for
do-
it, or
Or
I mean,
you can do Citrine.
okay.
Since I'm practicing my male voices.
So we're setting a gate in Carnelian free tonight, and we will have something for them to feed on.
Citrine wrapped her arms around the immortal's waist, looked up at him with a sweet yet excited smile.
I have missed them, Argon.
As have I. But we will need new blood. No, wait. Sorry, I have to make my screen bigger. All the letters are blending in together.
1 second.
There we
Let's
go.
see. Okay.
As have I. But we will need new blood. Oh, God damn it.
But we will
Sorry.
need blood.
One last. Yeah.
Okay.
As have I, but we will need blood of the one who sealed them away to make it happen. We must get our hands on Donatello's descendant. And lucky for us, Sebastian was not killed. Now that we have the pieces all together and now that we've figured out who he is, we will have to spill his blood over both our crystals and the amulet to set them free and to keep us from being sealed away again. It was blood magic that sealed us away, and it will be blood magic that will keep us free.
Argon turns around to hold Citrine to him and look down at her lovingly. Oh, how he has been in love with her since he first laid eyes on her. He knew he had to make her his.
Are you sure it will work, Argon? We do not know what will happen for sure, or if it will work. We know where to go, but the rest of this, it's just guesswork.
Citrine started to show a hint of fear and worry that made Argon frown.
We will not know until we try. Oh,
Sorry, 1 second. There you go.
we will not know until we try. We are taking back our lives and rebuilding our kingdom with our friends. I promise. Things will be different this time. I will try not to lose my temper.
Argon went to gently cup her cheek, and as if on instinct she flinched and closed her eyes. Hurt coated his face, and he lowered his hand from her and stepped away from her. He really did turn into a beast, a monster. He let power and jealousy take over, and he lost his way. He could still feel that hideous monster in him, and he knew it still wanted out again, and the struggle to suppress it was eating away at him. And all his sins and wrongdoings, he hurt the woman he loved most and pulled him into his darkness and made her into something horrible for what he had done to her, all out of his petty jealousy. Citrine opened her eyes and watched Argon, who was gripping at an old chair that was still left in the ruins of what once stood a proud palace.
Well, shit.
And this is Argon's line.
You should go to your children. I am sure the other mermaids are excited for your return.
Ron whispers without looking back at her. His voice held sadness and guilt. He was ashamed of what he had turned into and how part of him still wanted to be that way.
Are you sure? You do not seem well. Are you sure you're okay to be alone?
Citrine asked with worry in her voice as she slowly walked up to him and touched his arm gently.
I do not want to leave you to suffer alone.
Sorry, I lost my space. Bird pooped on me.
Whoops.
Thank you. Yes, I am sure. I'm going to try and devise a plan. You need to go see your children. I'm sure they have missed you.
Argon looked back at her with a gentle yet sad smile.
I do love you, Citrine. I always have. I am sorry I caused us all this pain. I lost who I was, and in doing that, I lost everything.
She looked at him sadly and hugged him. He held her gently to him. He had not done that in so long. He had not been loving and caring to her for so long. He had treated her like a prize to be won, like his property, and that guilt was eating away at him. Argon had his demons that he was fighting, and that much was clear. Not even God would forgive him for all the sins he had committed. At least that was what he convinced himself to believe.
Run along. I will figure out how to go about this. We need them back, and once we get them back, we will rebuild our kingdom. Start fresh, all four of us. Leave what is in the past. We can do so. And what is left of this castle. Just a bit of magic, and it will look as beautiful as it did back then, before everything went wrong.
And what of you? Are you not going to see your children?
Citrine looked up at him with so much worry. He remembered how carefree and kind he was before everything changed him, turning him into a monster, something dark and evil. She could see it in his eyes that he did not want to be that, and that he was terrified of becoming that again.
I cannot get into the village. I can still feel that thing in me. It is like a leech, and it will not let me go. I cannot go to them, not until I can get rid of the evil that is still in me.
He spoke softly as his fingers played with her dark hair. He smiled down at her, then moved his hands to gently stroke her cheek under her eye.
I will see you soon. Go dip that beautiful fin back in the ocean. I know how much you have missed it.
He kissed her forehead and moved away from her to wave his hand and watched how easily the castle started to rebuild itself brick by brick. His eyes watched it all start to come back together, and he prayed that this time he would be able to be the kind of king he had always wanted and strived to be. A kind and fair king that led with logic and understanding. He wanted to prove he was worthy of the crown that was bestowed upon him long ago. Citrine gently tugged him down to her level so she could kiss his cheek. He smiled shyly back at her.
I believe in you. If I can find a way, I will send word to them that we are back. I will be back.
Citrine gave him a warm smile and vanished from sight, leaving Argon alone in the old castle that was coming back together around him brick by brick. He looked around himself and started to walk the halls of the castle that was building up until he found himself back in the old throne room. He smiled at the completed work.
It feels good to be back.
Argon's elven crown found itself sitting back on his forehead as he took a step back on his throne.
Now then, Sir Donatello, how exactly did you learn of that spell? And how did you figure out the way to seal us? Surely you have old journals talking about it?
He sat pondering.
About that.
Where does your bloodline reside now? Is the next question. The children go to that private school, but I do not foresee the children bringing something like that with them. I cannot exactly go up to the boy and request his blood for that either.
The mortal sighs and rubs his eyes. This was going to be a proved to be a bit problematic, and they really did not have the type of time to waste. Something had to be done. They could not go back to being sealed away. That was a fate worse than death.
I'm going to have to take the Cameron boy. Citrine is not going to be happy about that.
Or, you
Not
know, you
with
could
us.
pose as a phlebotomist.
Not with us trying to start fresh. We did a horrible job of that coming out. Chris, I have to redo that sentence in my head. Give me a second. We did a horrible job of coming out of that crystal. But after feeding and calming down, fuck. There's no excuse. This is all I keep doing, is making excuses for what I've done and keep doing rather than owning them to my own fuck-up problems. I pulled Citrine into.
At least he's self-aware.
He looked around himself in sighs.
And I'm talking to myself now. Nice.
He sat up and arched a brow.
Now, I could take him while she's gone, cut his hand or something to spill some of his blood, then let him go. She would not have to even know that I took him. Oh, fuck, no, she would. She would know.
He groans and leans back on his throne.
I really need to talk to myself. I sound mental. As I say out loud, as...
Sorry, so I'm monitoring my audio levels here, and the banging is loud enough that my microphone is actually picking it up on both Twitch and TikTok, which means the audio track is gonna have that in. There's nothing I can do about it.
It's just the bricks being built up brick by brick around him.
Yes.
It's ambiance.
It's ambiance.
Sorry, it's driving me nuts.
You don't want to be in his castle then.
Critter, if you could restart the line from "I really need to stop talking to myself."
All right, hold on. Let me scroll back.
And I really need to stop talking to myself. I sound insane. As I say it out loud again. To continue to talk to myself.
He lets out a chuckle and got to his feet to wander the castle halls.
Hey, sometimes talking to yourself is very therapeutic.
That depends.
Don't be ashamed.
As I say, you gotta have an intelligent conversation once in a while.
Here's the thing: it's when you start answering yourself that you have to start worrying, and he's answering himself.
Actually, no, it's when other things answer you that are not there that you gotta worry.
Yeah. Like I've carried on full conversations with myself and reasoned things out that way. It's actually very therapeutic. It's not the answering yourself that you have to worry about. So
It's the other different sounding voices that come up in your head that that no one else is able to hear.
Memories flooded his mind as he walked the halls. Everything from beautiful, pleasant ones to the horrible ones that led up to the moment he was sealed away with Citrine on their wedding day. He had to admit he did not even see that coming. He never thought Donatello would seal them away, but could he blame him for it? No, he could not. He paused in the area for the ballroom and looked around, remembering every ball he had thrown, the beautiful gowns and decorations. The sound of the orchestra still rang out beautifully in his mind. Every step he took on the ballroom floor, he could still remember it. He always thought Citrine was beautiful. She was a goddess in his eyes. Perfect and beautiful in every way. Sadly, she never loved him the same way, though. She was always in love with another. Her personal guard that was a part of his army. He was jealous of her for him, and that was when jealousy and hunger for power changed him and turned him into the beast that he became. He turned from his ways of being a man of God into something evil and vile. He was sure that if he could die, he would have gone to hell for all his sins that he had committed. He made a silent vow to never become that monster again and repent for his sins. The thought of what he had already done since he had been back made him shudder. He questioned if he was even worthy of forgiveness for all he had done. He wished he could forget it. His anger, his jealousy, his thirst for power. He wished he could forget it all and the pain it caused so many. Argon closed his eyes and ran a hand down his face. Looking back at the ballroom one more time, he turned on his heels to leave it, to let the ghosts of his past haunt it, staying forever in the past.
Sorry, I was doing something different. Bird on my keyboard. Hold on.
Keyboard burp.
Where are we?
Top of the page.
I believe it is time to go talk to the young Cameron.
Argon said to himself as he vanished from the castle.
Wesley's me, yes?
Yes.
What makes you so sure it's Argon and Citrine?
Wesley asked.
From the shift in magic that I had felt, I had not felt anything like it in a long time.
He replied with a shrug and ran his finger. Daniel replied with a shrug and ran his fingers through his hair, then leans on the back of a chair. This is Argon. You're gone.
Argon is taking notes so that I don't remember to say shit later. Sorry.
We gone. Argon, you gone, we gone. We gone.
You're not wrong.
I'm also taking notes between so I can remember shit because this is a longer chapter.
Yes.
Not really. We're almost done.
We're getting there.
And you would be right, Merlin.
Argon walked from the shadows and looked the old wizard over.
I cannot believe it.
Your Majesty.
Daniel gave a slight bow to the monarch. You do not bow to the person who stabbed your betrothed's brother.
He doesn't know it was him. It has been a while.
I thought you were killed.
Argon walked in more over to the group that was in the hospital wing.
They said you were killed, and so was Morgana. I am sorry for that.
They said you was dead.
Am I not?
Pretty much.
Daniel nods to him.
How did you get free? Where's Citrine?
She is back with her children right now. I am not sure how we got free, honestly, but we would like to bring Agate and Carnelian back. Could you help? I am trying to get my kingdom back. A fresh start. A fresh start.
Having the fuzz today.
Yep.
Argon held a serious look, but had eyes of sadness as well.
Please, Merlin.
Daniel bit his lower lip and let out a heavy sigh after giving it some thought.
If I help you, will you leave the students alone? Will you go back to being a kingdom and ruler of peace?
Yes. I want to correct my wrongs. I'm like all phlegmy. I'm sorry, guys.
He wants to correct his wontons, guys.
See, what I heard was I want to correct my wongs.
Yeah, his wongs, like wontons.
No, I heard WONGS.
Yeah, I heard that too, and then I immediately thought wontons.
I want to correct my wrongs.
Yes.
Come on, guys, we're almost done.
Yes, I want to correct my wrongs. I should never have lost my way. I do apologize.
Argon said with remorse in his voice and the show of expression on his face. The group looked at one another with question on if the monarch should be trusted, but they trusted that Daniel knew more about it all in the past to decide if he should let out the other two immortals to be free or not. They could see the concentration with him contemplating what he plans to do.
What do you plan to do, Daniel?
Wesley spoke up and asked.
I am going to help him. I have a feeling we are going to need them and him. I have been having these feelings of a shift in magic, and it is not just from Argon and Citrine being let out. I do fear the worst is yet to come, and none of us are ready for it.
Daniel looked back at the group. His voice was serious as well as his expression.
What is coming, Daniel?
Sebastian asked.
I am honestly not sure, but whatever it is, it's not good, and it will bring nothing but death. The energy I feel is dark and deadly, and it is not coming from Argon or Citrine.
Daniel replied.
We should go. I take it you two are the ones that took the amulet?
We did. We are trying to figure out how to free them. I am glad that you are still alive to help to do this.
Argon waved his hand and made the old relic appear in it. Daniel took it in his hand and looked it over.
I have not seen this in a long time. It is time to go.
He went over to Clara and pulled her into his arms and kissed her deeply.
I will be back. Come on, Amethyst.
He slowly pulled away and went back to Argon, having them both vanish. Wesley had a hint of jealousy over Daniel with Clara, but he did not say anything. He only looked away at his Italian leather dress shoes.
And thus ends chapter 5. How long is chapter 6, just out of curiosity?
Chapter 6 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
It's
10,
a fairly
11.
lengthy. It's a fairly lengthy
11
chapter.
and a half.
It's a chunker.
Yeah, it's a chunker.
So I'm thinking we should actually break here and hold our discussion next episode, and then if we get around to potentially being able to do chapter 6, we can do that later today.
Okay.
So
I have thoughts on Argon and Citrine after this chapter.
Yep. Well, we'll get to that. We will get to that discussion in our next episode. Just bear with us, folks. For those of you listening to the podcast, thank you very much for joining us for this episode. You can find us on social media at linktr.ee/Idiot Book Nook. You'll be able to find links to our podcast, to the YouTube, to all of our socials. We invite you back, I guess, at this point next week for our next episode, and we will talk to you soon. For the Idiot Book Nook, I'm Blazewing.
I am the Reading Dragon.
I'm Lady Punnet.
And I'm Crittershy.
See you soon.